Thanks. So over to you, Dr. Soni, and I'll invite you now to give your presentation.
Thank you very much, sir. There's one user is saying that can't find raise hand option. So please, I'll just repeat. If you are on phone, then you need to swipe right, and then you'll get this option. Or you can swipe twice if there are many users. So sometimes it comes to second screen. Or if you are on laptop or computer, then you will have this option where your name is appeared in the list as participant, and when at the bottom you'll get 3-4 options in which, like, first option is to raise hand. So dear colleagues, thank you very much, Professor Sandar, for giving this brief. Like, you have, I think, given a platter of plenty of options, or platter of things to choose, which platform which can be used by individual teachers. Well, I would be speaking about, of course, about the security concern and all. So let me share my presentation with you so that it will be more kind of expressible. Yeah, here it is, and then let me just make it full screen. I hope you are not able to see my slide. So as the I've just tried to modify the topic, which says the use of Zoom, WebEx, and Google Meet platforms for online lecture and interactions. So what I'm going to speak about, these are the just key points to that. Like, apart from introduction, that I'll just give a comparative analysis of various platforms, which I did on my own while verifying, because there are like various comparison available online, but some that technology or the things or the schemes or the options keep on changing, keep on updating. So I was trying to update all the aspects which are available today, all the options which are available today. As per that, comparison sheet is prepared. And then, of course, I'll touch upon in detail security and safety while using online platform. See, the security and safety which I'll be touching upon, that is, of course, not only for Zoom, but it is for all the online platforms. And Zoom, of course, I'll tell about how it works. Cisco WebEx is there. Google Meet is there, and for 2G connection, Meet free conference call. This freeconferencecall.com is most suitable. I'll be talking about this one also. So here is the comparative analysis of all the resources. Like, for example, the common feature, that Zoom has 100 participants limit. If you have free account and 40 minutes limit, then you can connect once again, even after a second when your meeting ends. And recording, sharing screen, breakout groups. Breakout group is basically for when you have team work. Like, if you're making teams and then you're putting them into various different groups. So you can do on some kind of platforms, like Zoom has this facility, Microsoft Team has this facility. So you can just divide your students into team, and they can, it's something like in offline, if you just make team and they'll sit in another corner of the classroom, and they will discuss among themselves. Nobody will be able to listen to them. Only you can go and listen to them. So it is the same way this virtual room, virtual breakout groups can be done on some of the platforms. And connecting through phone, this is also one of the thing, like, when you can connect through 2G phone, when you are like, for example, this workshop is going on. If somebody says that I don't have internet connection, I have just only 2G connection, that means a cellular network. So they can connect while calling on a particular number, and they can be connected here. They can listen to each and everything, whatever we are saying. But of course, visual may not be there, but at least they can get around 70% what we are talking about, like through our voices. But yes, on Zoom or Google Meet, I've just put this asterisk mark, which says hash. That means which says that please, I would say that not to use this phone services on this one, because the number which they provide, it is of various other countries. That means, like, the server has not been set up in India. For instance, you can just see here, like freeconferencecall.com, they have the setup in India. So they provide the local number, and then the users with 2G connectivity, they can connect with this one. This is also a free platform, a complete free platform. But of course, there are some limitations. There are some plus, there are some minuses on all the softwares, all the programs. And then Google Meet is, of course, there as one of the powerful program. But the thing is that Google platform doesn't provide various options, which Zoom is leading in that kind of platform. So then after that, you have Microsoft Teams. This what I can say that that ease of use is, I've just given analyze it like, and all the features I've just gone through what are the features over there, and I've just found it like it's not very user friendly, because but alternately we can say that it is one of the richest platform for online classrooms, because it has the conference facility, it has the call facility, it has the file sharing, and that grading cards, or the groups. You can make a lot of groups, so you can make a lot of classes, and material can be shared like in a big files also. So there are no limits to various kind of activities on Microsoft Teams. But for that thing, like, we have to have a vast training to acclimatize with the usage of Microsoft Teams. And of course, at this time, during the time of COVID-19, we all are looking for the quick solutions. So that's why I've just, in that particular time period, I've just gave it 7. Skype, of course, you may be well aware about this Skype. Of course, it has also some limits. So Skype also can be used for a smaller, with a smaller group. And WhatsApp is one of the most convenient, platform to conduct video conferencing if you have, interaction with scholars. Like, for example, 4 people can connect in the WhatsApp, and that's very easy to use. After that, like, one of the most powerful platforms is WebEx. WebEx is also available for free, and of course there are paid plan, but at least in the free version, it can be compared. It can be compete. We can compete it with the Zoom. So I would request, like, if you have any security concern, if you think that Zoom is not safe as it is shown in media, so of course you can use WebEx. WebEx is also similar type of platform, which is like Zoom, and which is also, we can say, no platform, as Professor Shandar said, no platform is completely secured. You have to have security measurements. You have to do a lot of research, or maybe, like, before using, you need to learn how to use it. It is something like, before driving a car, we learn all the functions of the car. So how to drive safely and with security. So in the same manner, like, if you are using any of the platform as listed by Professor Chandar also, or these platforms which are here, you need to just first learn what are the security features, and then go on to using such kind of platforms. Otherwise, it may be possible, like, that there are various type of attacks, there are various types of security threats, which can, anybody can come onto your screen. So I'll be talking about this a bit in detail. Like, when you recently you have seen this Zoom and bombarding Zoom and all. Like, what happens generally, Zoom, like, people can enter into your screen and into your meeting, and then they can share anything which is not appropriate. I'll be talking about the safety features of Zoom, but before that, as like MHA has recently released the guidelines, there also they have mentioned that in present scenario it may not be possible to stop using Zoom, and therefore, like, these guidelines are there, by which were prepared by the Cyber Coordination Center. And I have seen that these these settings, or these measurements which they have provided, are very useful for not only for Zoom, but for each and every platform. So I request you all to please, this advisory is available online on our open sources. We can also share with you if you want. That I would request everybody to go through the guidelines, and you see what kind of settings, or that measurements you have to take before conducting Zoom, and these security features are totally applicable, completely applicable on other platforms also. because Zoom is now popular. That's why threat are coming to Zoom. Tomorrow, like WebEx goes popular, then the threat will come on. It is similarly like when Windows got popular, then there are a lot of viruses came in, and the Mac was considered as safest because they had the limited number of users. Now Mac has the user numbers, of Mac users are also increased, and that's why like you have a lot of viruses and threats on Mac also. So it is something like that. Nothing is secured. We have to be careful while using such kind of online platforms. So the broad objective, or like the common features like which can be found in all the platforms is like prevent unauthorized entry into the conference room. Like if you were there in the beginning, then we were trying to authorize, or we were trying to identify people who are not with their name and who are not in our list, so that we can just allow only those people who are authorized or who are in the list, and prevent an unauthorized participant to carry out malicious activities on the terminals of others in the conference. So there are various options which limits participants so that they should not carry out like malicious activities, like while sharing something or sending any file which may be virus and all. So you can all limit all these options. You can limit them and conduct your class or big programs in a safe zone. Recently, like we have organized one online conference in which more than 500 people participated, and we before conducting that meeting, this conference was organized by Center of Russian Studies, and before conducting this conference, we have gone through various security measurements, and we organized it successfully because we took all the measurements of security threats. And then avoid denial of service attacks by restricting user through password and access grant. This I'll show you while I'll be speaking on the topic. Now, what are the basic features or basic settings which you should do? Like setting new user ID and password for each meeting. We are not talking about. I'm just repeating itself. Though these this advisory is for Zoom only, but I have just seen it like these similar type of advisory are applicable for other online platforms. So setting new user ID and password for each meeting and or class. Like you have received user ID and password for this class, for this conference or this workshop, and so every time like you conduct a class, then you may create new user ID and password, and that is also one click. Enabling waiting room is most appropriate, or we can say most effective way to prevent unauthorized entries, so that when you join, like today also, like when you have joined, you are in the waiting room, and then the host would allow only if they find you in the list, so that to minimize the unauthorized entry into the platform. And disabling join before host. This is also option in almost all the online platforms. So that where you say that in offline mode, like the room, for example, in lab, multimedia lab, in our university also, they do not open the room before the teacher comes. The students may come, they may come 5 minutes before, but they have to wait there. For security reason, of course, it is also for that kind of thing. So that is measurement is here, like then when teacher comes, then only the room is open. So here also, like disabling join before host is also one of the effective moment. Then allowing sharing screen by host only. So now currently, like the sharing screen is off. If you can try, if you'll try to share the screen, you'll not be able to do that, because that is with the host only. And when our speakers will be speaking, then this right will be given to them also. Like the speakers will be having the right only to share the screen, so that nothing inappropriate comes on the screen. Disabling allow removed participants to rejoin. So that is one feature. Like if you are removed once from the meeting, then you cannot rejoin it. That setting is also there in the settings. Like you can disable it. So that people, if you have some person who is not authorized, or that person is trying to come again and again, and then you can just restrict them so that they cannot join again. And restricting the file transfer option, as I was saying, that there may be possibility if we enable the file transfer option, then there may be some malicious software or viruses can be transferred, although it happens on a very limited numbers, like when somebody is targeting you. It's not by random. When somebody is targeting you, somebody is trying to make you a target, then only these such kind of things happens. But of course, it is always good to disable file transfer. We have also disabled such option. Locking meeting once all attendees have joined. Like for example, you are conducting the class. So you have the option to, in the security feature, while having the class, you can just click on the lock meeting. So no one else would be able to enter that classroom. So you're totally safe in that scenario. And restricting the recording features. So there may be possibility, like, that in news I was going through that somebody said that some people have we had conducted a class, and then it was found on social platforms which we did not share, and that is a security breach and all. Of course, like if you have allowed recording feature to all the participants, of course they can then anybody can share any screen, any content. So you can restrict that feature also, that so that recording is not available with the users or with the participants. And to end meeting, this is also one of the security measure. Like when there are three options generally in Zoom or in other online platforms, where you say that just leave. And if you leave, then the users or the participants stay inside the room. It is something like you left the classroom, but your participants or your students are sitting in the room. And there may be possibility that they may be talking something about, and there may be some which is not required. So that things are there. So now let me just brief you about Zoom, how it works. And if dear colleagues, like if you have the like you, as you said, that there are security concerns and all, of course you can not use Zoom. You are free. You are free to use any other platform. But to understand the features of Zoom, it will help you to use another platform. It is something like if you have learned one language, it is said that if you have learned one language, then learning or acquiring second language or third language will be very easy. So if you know the features of Zoom or any other platform in details, then it will be easier to use any other platform later on as well. So I have just made a video of this platform, because while sharing the content, we will not be able to show you this screen or all the options. So for that purpose, I have to record a video, which is here. I just play that one and share it with you. In video that I have just shared all the details which can be used, or which can be just taken care while having such kind of interactive session. So here you have just one you have like one of the examples. Like recently we organized this workshop, this conference, and we had a lot of participants. So how to get the Zoom? Like first of all, the Zoom, if you go to zoom.us, and at the bottom you have this option to download meeting client. You can download it from here. You have these options here, and then after installing it, you have to just sign in. And the procedure to get if any other platform is similar. It's very similar. If you just go to Google Meet, or if you use WebEx, so I found that generally it is similar, but there may be with a different name. It is something like you're using your mobile, for example, Samsung, and now you're, after some time, like you are shifting to Oppo, or you're shifting to Panasonic. So then the functions will be similar type of, but they may be different text. There may be different names, but generally functions are similar. So here you will just enter your name and ID, or you can just, for the first time, you can just sign in with your Google ID or with the Facebook or SSO, like that is provided by your organization if they buy it. I just try to enter this one, and here like when you enter, when you signed in, then you have these options called new meeting, join, schedule, and screen sharing. So joining, like a new meeting, like you can just create instantly and join when you are joining somebody else's meeting. Scheduling is one of the important features, like as our previous speaker also said, that schedule the meeting is one of the important thing. Like when you schedule it, then only your students, it's easier and convenient for students to get prepared or be prepared at that particular time. So let's see how to schedule the meeting. There is one screen which shows that how to schedule a meeting. Like when you click on schedule meeting, then you'll have the option to topic, give the topic. You can give the time and all. And there is also one option, recurring meeting. So if you are having that a close group, like recently we had a question that if there is that a group of 10 or 15 people, then which platform can be used. So see that even if it is for small number of students are there, then also this in generally in WebEx also, or in Google also, Google Meet also, and on this Zoom also, we have this option like recurring meeting, in which you may just create your ID once. Although the MHA guidelines says that do not use one recurring meeting ID. So that means, like they say that every time you should make a new ID. So it is all upon you, that if you are confident that your students, like there are less in number, like 10 or 5, and they will not share your ID, then of course you can use the recurring meeting. Then means with the same link they will be able to join every time you have class. Generate this ID, meeting ID, let it be generate automatically, because we should not, as the security advisory also says, you should not invite people with the meeting ID, because this will be your personal ID. And here, like I can change it, because currently as I'm sharing it here, so I need to change it once again. Now then, password is, it can be generated automatically, or you can generate it. And here is the option, like you can just say when you are entering, your video should be on or off, or what do you want, like your participants video should be on or off. Of course this will ask permission from the participants also to switch on the video. Here audio, like as I said, that they have the telephone number of US or other countries, so it's better to use computer audio only. That means, like which the conference which will be, or the program or the class which will be conducted through class through this on internet only. Then you have a calendar, like you can just add it into calendar and provide the details over there, so that it can show you the reminders and other features. There is also one advanced option. This is also very, very important, which is there in each and every platform. I have seen it, at least in Google and WebEx. So advanced option, you should enable this waiting room, as we were talking earlier, and then enable join before host. You can disable it and mute participants on entry. If it is a large gathering, then you can click it option. This can be changed later on as well, and leave other options like that. So while you're entering, you'll come to this this kind of meeting, and then you can just start, click on start meeting, and you'll come into this option. Here you have the options to just create a virtual background, which says, like currently you can see that at my background it's a virtual background, and in the video it's a real background. So to switch on this background, you can just click on here, virtual background, and download it if it asks for once. This will be for once. This background will not work if the system configuration is not met with the requirement here. If you are like, that means if you are an old system, so that that feature will not be available for such users. So now you can just see that I've just tried to give a virtual background. Here you have various options, like through which you can check your mic on chat and all. The options are there, like through which you can customize your things, customize your class or how to conduct the meeting. And here is the feature of security. You know that after getting that if all the participants have joined, then you can log the meeting. That means nobody else can come. So there is no question of security breach. And if you have this share screen, like currently you can see that it is meaning unclicked. That means nobody can share the screen. Only the host or co-host can share the screen. And chat option is available for all, and renaming themselves, because sometimes like it happens, as today it happened that people may come with their default name of their computers. So they have the option. So let them, we should give them option to rename themselves so that we can identify them, or you can identify them manually and then you can rename them also. Now you have this option, like after somebody joins, you have this kind of that when you click on manage participants, then you have this option called waiting. This is a waiting room area, which you may have seen today also. Like you were earlier when you landed to the workshop, then you were here, and then we had to admit you manually. If we see that the ABC we don't know, then there is one option, like you can just admit it and verify the people. And if you think that the verification is not up to the mark, or that verification is not done, then you can remove such person also. Now, how to share the screen? Let me just tell you that how to share the screen here. Here is the option called share screen. You can just click on share screen. And while clicking on share screen, you will have, there are 3 clicks required. Generally, it happens that people click twice and then they wait that nothing is being shared. So 3 clicks are required. First is on this green screen. After that, you need to select which screen you wanted to share. Like for example, if you want to share, this my computer screen, then everything will be visible. So I would request maybe not to share this screen, because then everything will be shared. Or if you have presentation, or if you have Word file, then you can just open that file, and that file will be visible here. And then just select that particular file, so that only that particular file is visible to the users. Like currently you are viewing only the video file of from my computer, nothing else. So that is also one security feature. There are also other options like whiteboard, which you can use, and then portion of screen can be shared, music or sound that can be shared. So various other options are there. Now you have the settings over here. Some settings are there in the application on this platform, as we showed earlier, and then major settings are there available in when you enter into your this account on browser. So there you have to just take care all the these settings which are there mentioned in the in previous slide or in the advisory from MHA. While having meeting, this is also one of the security feature, that you can limit sharing screen at one participant can share at one time. So that means like currently if I'm sharing the screen, then nobody else can share the screen. If you even in the speakers also, but then it otherwise like it makes confusion, or it may be some problems also there. Here you have options to setting to give the in advanced sharing options that you can just select here. So that similar type of settings are there in I'm just repeating that similar type of settings are there in other platforms also. If you have if you got to acquainted with these settings, then of course it will be easier for you to find similar type of settings on other platforms. In some softwares you have this option of annotation also. You can annotate. And here also there is one option called breakout rooms, which I was talking about, that you can break your participants into various rooms, and then you can conduct the group activities with them. And here is the option to raise hand. Like people who was asking for where the raise hand option is available, it is here. Raise hand, and then your name will appear here with raising hand, and then you will be given you can be given chance to speak. And this is one of the most important features. Like when you are ending meeting, this is what I was talking about. Don't click on leave meeting, because leave meeting means you are leaving, but your participants are there. Or you just, if you are hosting the meeting, then you should click end meeting for all, so that your session is over and you have the all features over there. Okay, so let me come back to the presentation. I'll just click on new share and select my PPT, and then click again on share. So now you are on my PPT again. And here are the browser settings, advanced settings, like which are required to be checked before before proceeding to your meeting on Zoom. And on the same base, Google Meet also has such kind of settings, and the WebEx also has. So if you see the this now, let me tell you about the WebEx also. So I'm again clicking on new share, selecting the video. First I have to just play that video from the folder, so that the video can appear in that program that I'm going to share with you. So now I just click on WebEx video. I've played it, and I'm going back to my Zoom and then clicking on new share. Now the video will appear here. Here it is, and I'm just clicking on share. So now you will be able to see the this black window, and here I'm just typing this cart.webex.com. So how to get the WebEx? Like here, the option is cart.webex.com. Here you can just type on any browser. You'll be on this window. And for the GNU users, there is a good news, like what I yesterday got from CIS department, Mr. Harris, that for GNU users, this service is available on a quick mode. Like that means, like it is, the free version is authorized quickly, instantly. That means, and if you are using any other email address, then they may take 24 hours to 72 hours to activate your account. But if you are using your GNU app account, that means for example, my email address on GNU app is somusenu gnu@gnu.ac.in. See, gnu.ac.in is the app account, not mail.gnu.ac.in, but gnu.ac.in only. So if you are entering that email ID, then you will be able to just use this WebEx freely and instantly. So while after entering your name, you will get this, like for example, I'm just giving you a random email, and then you will get this message that your password has been sent. And then after that, first, like you have to give your name and last name. Then it will send the password to your account. Like here it is, like your account is ready, and this when this message comes, you need to go to your email account and click on the link, and then you will come to this screen which says that create your password, and other details will be asked. So after getting your account activated, you have this option in WebEx to start meeting over here. You have this option which says that if you want to start through phone or through other mediums, that also you can do, or you can schedule meeting over here. Like as I was saying, that even on Zoom also there was one schedule option. So here also you can just use this schedule option, and other various settings are here. Like as in Zoom it was there, preferences, that name may be different, but the similar type of settings are there. You can also connect your Facebook or Google account if you wish to. Of course, then again, we can say that that when WebEx will become popular as like Zoom, then of course similar type of attacks may come on WebEx also. But here then it all depends upon you, that how securely you are using such kind of platforms. If you're using it securely, then everything will be fine. As rightly said by Chandra sir, that mobile cards are cloning, or your debit cards are cloning. So nothing is safe, but it doesn't matter. Like we cannot stop using such kind of services which are essential. So you can just select here your in the settings your time zone for the one time. You can just before starting the meeting, just try to go to each and every session, each and every settings, and try to use the customized setting over here. Now you can see that there is also one option which says automatically lock my room. That is what feature is activating the waiting room. By default, it will say 10 minutes. Automatically lock my room 10 minutes after meeting starts, so people can join without any permission. So what I would say that just keep it 0, so that even a first user joins, that should also come with your authentication. The settings of video and audio is there, like you can just set your videos and audios, and that if you want to set a video address, scheduling the meeting, that various features over there. You have the option to record meeting, that meetings recording will appear here, and that recordings can be done on your laptop or on your system. And here we are in the meeting. So let me just schedule the meeting. Like for example, we can just give a topic, class, and the meeting password. Of course, it's here, and let it be self-generated. And here is again that recurring meeting. Like if the meeting you think that okay, it is closed meeting, like for 4 people or 5 people or 10 people who are you're confident with, that okay, they will not share this ID with somebody. And of course, you have option to change it anytime. And there is one option that you can just type their email addresses with the comma or semicolon over here. You can just paste the list of your students' email ID, and then just send the invitations. That will be also possible. This feature is not there like in Zoom. It has some complicated, like that need to have access to your account. And here, like, it will send on its own. So that is also one plus on this WebEx. Look here, and then you have the scheduling options. You can just click on this one, exclude password from email invitation. This is also very important, dear colleagues, that while having on WebEx such kind of scheduling, such kind of meeting, that do not forget to click this option, because this option will secure your meeting on WebEx. So it's not about like WebEx cannot be targeted. It can be targeted like any platform, as we are saying repeatedly, that, but you need to just pay attention on the security features. Like here, if you click exclude password from email invitation, that means like password, it can be communicated by personal channels, or you can just share with your students verbally or through text also. So here the option is. And then you have another some other meeting options, like what you want your users to allow, like chat or notes, or allow participants to take notes and all. That is also available here. And there is also one option, attendees privilege. What do you want, like what kind of rights you wanted to give to the participants, like to whether they can save the annotations, or they can save the messages, and they can view the participants list, they can view the thumbnails, or control desktop remotely. You can just deactivate this control desktop remotely, because this is for those people who are just trying to help you if you have something like some issue in your computer, and then they are taking charge of your computer remotely. So you can just if you are having class, then and if you don't want your students to access, of course it will ask before taking such kind of remote access, then it will ask for the permission. So but if it is not required, you can disable it. Then we have this participants in private chat with host, presenter, or other presenter. You can just disable presenter, or maybe enable if it is required. That means like participants can enter into chat with the presenter in private, or other participants. Other participants can be disabled, because that may not be as per the practice, it may not be a good option when people are writing maybe among themselves, and maybe during that process they may miss a lot of things what is being in the meeting or class. So after having these all settings, you can just click on start meetings, or just click it on 0 so that the waiting room is enabled. And then you can just come to this download section, and in download section you can install the application app for your computer, or it can be for mobile also. Like here it is desktop app, and if you scroll down, then you will find app for mobile also. So you'll download the app, and then it will come as this one, like this. This is my desktop app, and you can have similar type of classes, or the schedule and all, everything can be controlled away from here. Like and this may while having students are while getting students such kind of things, you have these setting options over here on the this setting option is over here, and then you have the similar type of active various setting options. Some you have already defined, and some you can define here if you want to do. These all settings are required only one time. First time if you'll set up your security measure, if you take all the security measures, then further it will be by default activated. So now, like here also, like after joining, like when you started, you clicked on start meeting here on your app, then you will be on such kind of screen. Similarly as Zoom, you have just plenty of options over here. You have the options over here to if you want to make certain changes, and if you want to send the invitations even at the time of conference or class, you can just click on these three dots, and you can copy the link, and then you can have you can send the invitees similarly from here also through email. So we are running short of time, so I'll just quickly go through further. So that's it. And while ending the meeting, then also you are required to click on end meeting for all. Here also it is required. And now let me quickly go to Zoom, not Zoom, but Google Meet, what we were having in earlier. Like we were talking about, like Zoom also is what I analyzed in detail. So I'll just click again. Once again, the sharing it, share my screen, and here is Google Meet. So you'll click on meet.google.com, and okay, that means this video is not very clear. Let me just try another video that is more clear. Yeah, here it is. So you've seen this one earlier, and now we'll come to Google Meet here. Yeah, here, just type in the Google Meet, and it will take you to the link. And you can use, if you are having if you're not signed in, then of course it will ask for Google Meet. And for GNU users, we can tell you that Google has provided free of cost account for all the GNU user. It is included in the package of GNU app, so you can use your gnu.ac.in to get the premium features. So while like I entered with my Gmail with my gnu.ac account, then this option, join or start meeting. Earlier, if you can see that only use meeting code, that means I had permission. I did not sign in, or if I do not have the authenticated account, then I'll also only use the meeting code for joining the meeting. But here I can start also meeting if I entered with my Gmail ID. So here is also a similar type of thing, like you can just join now. And yeah, one option, like when you're clicking on join, you need to just, if you're starting a meeting, then you need to click on continue, because sometimes like if you click here, then sometimes it may ask like, okay, this such kind of thing is not available. So you just leave it blank, and you will come onto this screen. Here you can click on join now, and then you'll have the option to invite your participants. Like here, you can just copy joining info. This can be shared, or you can click here also, add people, like that notification will be sent from Google Meet to the participants, or this is the option that which can be copied or it can be shared with your students. Now you can see that how it looks like, how this code looks like. Here also, that this option is there, like this is the link basically. And here also you can just remove this number, like when you are sharing the invite, so that people by mistake do not call on such number which is not in India. So otherwise they will lose their balance. So here's the meeting link. And then here also you can, in settings, you can enable the waiting room. And when somebody is joining with the link you have provided, they may be asked, they will ask, of course, for your permission. For example, I'm just trying to enter from my other mobile, and then I have the option to deny or entry or admit it. So that is also one of the security feature which is there in Team also, Google Meet. So here also, now then you have the options to mute or to stop their video, and then you have options to share your screen. There is also one brilliant option which I found, like, which is there only in few platforms, is if you turn on the captions. Like when you turn on the captions, then whatever you are speaking, it will be typed, and this program will be very beneficial or very fruitful for people who cannot listen, or who have issue with the hearing, who have like hearing issues. So that for those people, like those students, it can be very beneficial, and it can suit their requirements. Of course, there like around, we can say that everything depends upon how we are speaking, or how we are just saying. If our sound or pronunciation is clear, then it will catch the captions. It is called captions. So there is also this again, this sharing screen is option there. Share when similar type of thing, like you have to click thrice. You click on share screen, then you have to select the particular box which you wanted to share, and then click on share again. And then this window will come, like you are presenting or you're sharing the content with your users. And then again, you can just click on end meeting for all. Like here also, rejoin, or of course that meeting that will come, it will end. So in which this will be done. Let me come back to my PPT quickly. So here it is, like Cisco WebEx I told about you, and Google Meet was still told. And this is what, like just saying quickly in 2 minutes, I'll tell you about this call conference, free conference call.com. This is very much suitable for 2G users, as like in previous session that there was a question, like people who do not have access to internet, so what to do with them. So this is also one of the free platforms. It's totally free, and they can call on this number. Of course, it is a number of Chandigarh, which is like the server is set up in Chandigarh, and people can, like today, if they have the package which says that you have similar type of tariff for all like for roaming numbers also, for STD numbers also, then they can join with this dialing with the number. I've tested it and it was working very fine. I've tested this number also, and then this is what I got when I created the meeting. And the same procedure is there, like joining or hosting. You can just click on host and invite people. And after that, like you have this, joining details. You can copy it, you can invite by email, and you have various numbers like through which people can connect to your this meeting or class. And now the conclusion, of course, as earlier said, that then try to select the suitable platforms, and take security measurements, and share, discuss about your experience with other users. Like other users, it can be students, it can be your colleagues, and feedback from students is also will be very beneficial, like how they feel whether they are comfortable with that or not. And of course, enjoy teaching as well as learning, because we all learn till our last breath. So teacher is also not that one who knows everything, because teacher is also learning on day to day. In every year, every batch, we learn a lot of things, and every situations we get to learn a lot of various new things. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. And if you have the questions, I may answer to your questions. Like we have here, Poonam Mehta wanted to say something. Like, okay, Poonam ji, I've just unmuted you. Please go ahead with your question.
Sure. Thanks a lot for your initiative, Shandarji, and your initiative on carrying out this conference. And I just had a short comment to what Professor Nilika Mehrotra said earlier, that if there is a group of 10 to 15 students and one would like to have informal chat or discussion with them at some irregular time intervals or something, then probably Skype is not such a bad option. It works well for small groups and informal discussions. Now that everybody is using Zoom and everybody is using Google Meet, probably for smaller discussions, Skype can work better. That's my feeling, but I may be wrong. So that's one thing. Then other thing was in your in the beginning of your slides, there was one slide where you compared Skype, WebEx, and everything. In that, the phone option on Skype was turned off. But in phone, one can also use Skype. So that is something which I wanted to mention. One more thing which comes to my mind is when we are using Zoom and all any other such digital platform where we are vulnerable, probably it's a good idea that all of us should switch off the password saving option in our computers. Whatever computer we use to connect to Zoom or connect to Google Meet or whatever, if we switch off all our password saving in our computers, then there is a lesser risk of somebody being able to use our information. So that is something we can use as a precaution. That's what I would like to say. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Poonamji. Of course, yes, that maybe I have missed in Skype that phone. Yeah, phone option is there, like to join. But
Yeah.
I've tried it, but I could not find it. Like while conducting this, that conference
survey
type of situation. Like
when
I was having a conference, I'm talking about the conference or online classes where like more than one students are connected with your, in your class. So for that thing, I could not find that option. It may be there, like we are not perfect. Like
so I can only say for some discussion within 4 people, 4 collaborators, it works on phone also.
Yeah.
So that I have experienced.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. And now we have some questions in chat. Then we can just say good news about Cisco.
Yeah. So I replied some of them. Maybe the remaining you can take some of them.
Okay. I'll just trying to read, going through the questions.
The virtual background, people are very happy about your background.
Okay, thank you. So, Jana Shruti ji is asking, like, JNU provided access to WebEx or Google Meet will work on Chrome browser. Yesterday I couldn't get through Firefox. I think no, it's not limited to any Chrome or that Google product, but it should work on that one, any platform, any window or browser. Because the thing is that it has also this offline software, which is desktop app. Of course, like if once you are entered and then you have downloaded it, and everything will work through that app. Okay, one question is from Muhammad Ajmal or maybe something like that. The name is not completely visible here, but I'll just read the question. What is the difference between Google Classes and Google Meet? See, the difference between Google Class and Google Meet is about something like you have a blog type of platform, which can be called Google Classes, where you can share the sheets, where you can share the questionnaires, where you can grade them, where you can just ask to submit them assignment, where you can have a blog type of discussion and debate, or you can clear their doubts and all. So it's one portion which you can say that which allows the discussion thing offline. That means where you are not online. Whereas like Google Meet or Duo Google or various three platform have merged into Google Meet. they are meant for the online interactions, where you have video as well as audio interactions. Okay, and then we have question from Poonamji that you asked for. Google Meet is integrated with Google Classroom. Google Meet is not integrated with Classroom, but yes, I have read somewhere like they are planning to merge it, because similarly, like Microsoft Team has this merging option, like they have merged everything. So you can say that this Microsoft Team is a merging of Google Meet and as well as Google Classroom, and various other options are also there. Then question is Nilika Mehrotra ji. On Google Meet, does everyone need to have Gmail account? Well, I have tried with Gmail account and JNU account, so it was done like JNU account. But of course, like till the time like when I tested, the Google Meet was not allowing people without having subscription to that. That means like that free option was not visible to me. And then I went to a JNU account. Then it showed it registered me, or it authenticated me. Then we have a question from, okay, the discussion is going on.
So somebody is asking, what is the maximum number of participants in Cisco WebEx?
Cisco WebEx, with the free user account, you have a maximum number of 100 people at a time, including the host. And there is no time limit. I'll just show you that sheet once again, because that's very important. Why I said that this Google WebEx is also competing this Zoom, because it has this no limit option is over there. Like there is no limit. You can conduct the meeting on at any length. And you have phone support, of course. Of course, it is routed through various channels, but not through India. Chat option is also there. Caption is still not here. And ease, I would say that it's easier, like 9 out of 10. And it has that free user account for 100 people at least. Okay. Any other question? I cannot. Okay, what are the different modes of conductive live online test for 40 to 50 students? See, a live online test you can conduct through various programs like Google. I think Google this Classroom. You can conduct such kind of tests, and live test you can conduct while having this Zoom meeting, or having a Zoom or this WebEx meeting, and then you can just have the live share your screen with the students. And there is also one option, very interesting one, that is Kahoot. I'll just type it here, kahoot.com. I'm been using this Kahoot platform. It's very easy to have such kind of online games, or on like online even tests also, which may be, of course, based on the MCQs, and you can create it easily. And nowadays, like they have also allowed teachers to give, they're giving like premium features to the teachers at this time of COVID-19. So you can just try this one, and you can create your quiz or your test, and then you can conduct meeting with the students through WebEx or through any platform, and you can have you can just conduct that through Kahoot. You can show your screen, share your screen of the Kahoot, and students can answer from them from their respective areas, and that will be conducted live. Then we have question: what kind of threats are associated with Zoom or this kind of online platforms? I heard that our email and bank password accounts are also not secured. See, sir, the thing is that if you are taking security measurements, then you can just minimize the vulnerable attacks. And of course, if you are using anything, even you are using your email, even if you are using your phone, even you are using your Facebook account, anybody can attack, anybody can target a person. If they are targeting you, then if your security measurements are not up to the mark, then they may be anything can be accessed. And the password, as like earlier said, the password, or if you have saved it in your browsers, then if somebody has remote access, for example, and there also they need to have your permission. Without your permission, they cannot even enter to your database. They cannot even access to your Google password which are saved on your browsers. There also they need your identity, your permission to reach into that account. Like for example, if you're conducting a remote session, that somebody is accessing your computer, there also they need to have you need to have you need to give the permission to them to access your data. So if you are not that if you're not accessing them, if you're not giving access to any unknown person, then of course you are safe. And it means like you can minimize such kind of attacks. And it's not sure that the email ID is being hacked because of Zoom. Email IDs have been hacked for a long time, like when even they were created. So we cannot say without any investigation and without any proof, like which we had also one incident in JNU, and not during this time, but earlier also it was like that. You like for example, from JNU accounts, like we used to get, or in our other email accounts also, we get to such kind of invitation or emails that your account is being expired, so please update your account and give you all the details like your name, the user password, and send. Only then you will be able to use your email account. So such kind of email would come like this email has been sent from the authority, and then some people who did not verify from where actually this email has come, or that they do not verify the email, then of course they lose their data. That means that they share their password and email ID with them, and then only they can that these such kind of things can happen. Like earlier also it happened a lot of times when our email was.
I would like to add a little point here that safety and security is not just about digital media. I mean, if there are certain streets which are not safe, pickpockets may be there, and a crime can happen. So crime can happen in physical scenario and in digital scenario both. We have to be aware about what are the risks in a particular street. What time is it safe to go there? Where should we put? Whether we should keep our money in our pocket, the back pocket, front pocket, in the bag. Where all these things have to be. We have to understand. So security threats are not just the phenomena of a digital world. It is a phenomena of a physical world as well. So we have to be aware about our risks and take steps to protect ourselves.